After 4 long years of waiting, we finally have had our patience rewarded. And I'm so down for it. Hey, what's up you guys? Silent Violet here, and yes, today we're here to fulfill what I said I was gonna do in my last video, which is a full mixtape listen to D-2, the latest mixtape from Agust, aka Suga of BTS. In order for this to happen though, I do need to give a little bit of context, but bear with me, I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible. Some of this context I did say in my last video. In case you haven't seen it, it was a reaction to D-2, which is one of the new songs on D-2. You can check it out here if you haven't already. But I will still give a quick little recap as well as build on a little before getting to this mixtape. Trust me, this information is kind of needed, especially if you're not a huge fan of BTS, you don't really follow them, and you don't really know what's going on, just so that way you have an idea as to why this is such a big deal. Because this isn't just, oh, some new music for us. No, I did state in the intro that this is 4 years in the making. So as stated in that last video, the difference between the Western kind of, music scene and the Eastern music scene is a little bit different when it comes to solo work. Over here in the West, if you're in a band or a musical group of some sort and, one of the members just decides to do a solo album, usually that is call for, oh my gosh, they're leaving the band, they're leaving the group, they're going solo. Cute tears. But over in places like South Korea, that's actually pretty commonplace. Not only do individual members of groups sometimes do their own solo work, but sometimes the group will break into subunits, as seen in groups like NCT. We have NCT, the actual group, and then you have the subunits NCT Dream, NCT 127, so on and so forth. And these groups will sort of break off from the main group and do their own actual albums and performances and things like that. And it doesn't mean that they're leaving the original group at all. It's just, again, completely commonplace. And BTS aren't an exception to this by any means. Case in point, at the time of recording this in the year of our Lord 2020, each of the members has released their own solo song, completely outside of the whole BTS thing that they've, written and made and produced. Some have even done music videos, like in the case of V with Winter Bear, he directed and made his own music video for it. And all of these have been released on SoundCloud, they're free, so it's as to kind of emphasize, this isn't a BTS corporate thing, this is just me doing my own thing because I want to. And Yoongi may have been one of the earliest, but he wasn't the first member to do this. Now that distinction actually goes to RM, who back in 2015, when he was still under the stage name Rap Monster, released his first mixtape under the title RM. And if you recall, I did actually do a little tribute to 5-year anniversary of RM. Specifically, it was a tribute to 5 years with the song Do You, which is, besides Joke, probably the most well-known song off of his mixtape. But unlike Namjoon, who released RM and his later mixtape, dubbed the playlist called Mono, under his BTS stage name, as well as Hoseok, who released Hope World, his free mixtape, under his BTS stage name of J-Hope, when Yoongi released his mixtape in 2016, he did something a little different. Instead of releasing his mixtape under his stage name of Suga, he actually released it under the moniker of Agust. And yes, it is spelled that way intentionally. If you actually flip it horizontal, you realize that it spells Suga DT backwards. The Suga obviously being his BTS stage name, and the DT stands for Daegu town, which is the town in which he grew up in. In the one and only interview he did promoting the mixtape, Yoongi explained that the reason why he released it under a different name was because he wanted it to be differentiated from his work as Suga of BTS. And the reason why he made it a free mixtape instead of a traditional album you would normally pay for is because he wanted to avoid the whole, thinking about popular appeal or music ranking that would come with the traditional album. Not only that, but by making it a free mixtape, it gave him a lot less restrictions in terms of the lyrical content. He had much more freedom to sort of express himself in whatever way he wanted to, and be as open and raw and honest as he so pleased. That's also why I put quotations around the word promoting, considering, again, he wasn't making any money off of it. And honestly, the lyrics are a huge reason why this mixtape holds such a special place in the hearts of many armies. I mean, you have songs like the titular track, Agust and Give It To Me, where he does the kind of thing that you would expect from a Min Yoongi mixtape. He disses the haters, he claps back at the industry that has belittled him and his other members of BTS for so many years. He flexes on how much money he has, considering the humble beginnings that he started with and the journey that he's kind of undergone to get to that point. We love a good underdog story. But then you have songs like Tony Montana, which, yes, uses the character from the movie Scarface as sort of analogy to talk about the nature of success and ambition and envy and all those other stuff that's, kind of goes into the whole dark side of fame. And then you have songs like The Last, where probably at his most vulnerable and honest is where Yoongi dives deep into explaining his past with anxiety and depression in very descriptive detail. And it's because of these lyrics, as well as the fantastic production and Yoongi's own proper talent when it comes to rapping, that made us all very eager to see what would come next. When faced with these questions though, Yoongi would usually deflect, saying that, you know, too busy with the actual BTS stuff to kind of get to it, probably won't be for a while, or most of the time just avoid the topic altogether. And then the recent radio show happened where he did Q&A and someone asked, hey, when's Agust D-2 coming out? And he said, not for a while. Nah, might as well forget about it. It's not gonna be for a while. And then 20 days later we get this. And yeah, that's why we're here. We're here because I already watched and reacted to the music video and actual song for D-2, and now we're going to react to the rest of the mixtape, because of course we are. To be honest, as much as I might harp and gripe about, oh, Min Yoongi's such a liar, I will never trust him again, I'm actually really excited for this. Like many armies, I do genuinely still enjoy the original Agust D mixtape and was very excited when I found out we were getting a sequel, mainly because, as I stated earlier, 4 years have gone by, therefore that's 4 years of growth, 4 years of development, and 4 years of even more kinds of hardships that they've faced as a group. What kind of things can be born out of that? Now this isn't the first listen through that I've done on this channel. I did do a full album reaction to Map of the Soul 7, which is right here. If you haven't watched it already, go ahead and take a look. But the reason why I actually bring that up, other than shameless self-promotion, is because the way I did it in that video is a little different to the way I'm going to do it in this video. With Map of the Soul 7, I just sort of listened to the songs and decided to look up the lyrics later off screen to figure out what was going on in terms of the lyrical content. But because lyrical content was such a huge reason why people felt drawn to the first Agust D mixtape, the reason why they fell in love with it, why they identified with it, and why they felt like it resonated with them so much, I decided that for this listen through, while I will listen to the songs, I will also be taking a look at the lyrics as well, just to figure out what's going on, sort of as a whole package. And then this way, for the next album that I listen through on this channel, whether it's BTS related or not, you guys can let me know which method you prefer better. If you prefer my commentary when I'm just listening to the song, or when I'm looking at the lyrics as well. And that way I can sort of get a feel as to what you guys honestly prefer. So with all that being said, let's get to the mixtape. I have my cute headphones on. Aren't they cute? They're love rose gold. Alright, pulling up the English translation, lyrics. I should probably mention I haven't actually looked at the actual track list yet, so I was gonna do that as well on screen, just because I didn't want to spoil myself. Alright, let's take a look at the track list first. Alright, so it looks like we've got 10 songs, so I'm just gonna go through and read them off real quick, and then we're gonna actually get into the listening. So the first track is called Moonlight. Ooh, okay, that kind of reminds me of Moonchild from Mono and Moon from Map of the Soul 7. So now I'm like, Moonlight, interesting. Second one is gonna be D-2, so yep, I know that one already. Number 3, What Do You Think? I have the sneaking suspicion that that song is going to include a lot of attitude. Of course, I did think the same of Louder Than Bombs, and I was not really right on that one. But I'm gonna take that guess again. Number 4, it's called Strange featuring RM. Why did no one tell me that Namjoon was on D-2? I feel like I should have been informed. Okay. Strange featuring RM. Strange. Doctor Strange. I remember Namjoon at the concert saying that he was trying to be like Doctor Strange. It all comes together. Alright, so let's see. Number 5 is called 28 featuring Nihua. I don't know who Nihua is. But 28. 28. Isn't that how old Yoongi is? At least in Korean age? I think so. Because I know that international, like, actual age, Yoongi's 27, but in Korean age, where you're a year older than your actual age, is 28. Don't ask me why that is the way it is. I don't know. I don't know. Number 6, Burn It featuring Max. Isn't Max that guy that Yoongi hung out with last time they were here in America? Like they went to a Lakers game and stuff. I think that's, oh, he said he was working on something with a Korean artist. Oh, okay. All right, number 7 is called People. Number 8 is called Hansul. Number 9 is an interlude. It is called Set Me Free. And then number 10 is called Dear My Friend featuring Kim Jong-wan of No. I do not know who Kim Jong-wan is. I do not know who Nihua is. I'm going to find out though. Alright, so I have the lyrics on standby and we're gonna go ahead and get into this first reaction to the D-2 mixtape, starting off with Moonlight in 3, 2, 1. Okay, starting off kind of soft. You're like doo, doo, doo. Okay, we have like the record scratching. Kind of reminds me of Ego, the beginning of Ego.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Alright.
3년이 지났네.
3 years have passed.
솔직히 몇 곡 넣을지 잘 모르겠어.
I don't know how many songs to put in. Oh well, I'm just doing it. Not the exact translation. I'm trying to keep it clean.
Okay.
Peter Pan still cannot wake up from his dream. I like the beat. It sounds like very, I'm not saying mellow, like the beat in the background is mellow, but bringing in those trumpets, I like it. Ooh, I like this. It's like actual singing. It's like a lot has changed in my life, but that Moonlight is still the same. Interesting. Sometimes I feel like I'm a genius. Sometimes I feel like I have no talent. Some songs write themselves like crazy. When I'm stuck, there's no way out. Yeah, right now. Interesting. I like the sort of like dive into the writing process. I like that little moment where he's like, the adjectives they attach to my fame feels like too much. It's like there's pressure with being one of the biggest boy bands in the world. That right there is one of them. It's the biggest boy band in the world. Oh, it's over. Oh, okay. Okay, I really like that one. I like, for an intro, I think it did a really good job. Like he said in the lyrics, like, oh yeah, 3 years have passed, it's Agust, and I'm like, it's a good way to like sort of reintroduce us to, Agust, because in a way, Agust is both the same, but it's also different than Suga of BTS. It's like a much more vulnerable and kind of raw person, if you will. Even though we know it's the same, it's all Min Yoongi, but much like, they say in Map of the Soul, like there's different personas that people put on. So it's sort of like reintroducing us to this persona of Min Yoongi. I really love the actual musical aspect of it. I really like that focal point in the very background, like that started out, that sort of doo doo doo, I like how it brought in the trumpets. I feel like the trumpets were sort of like the ta-da, he's back kind of thing, make way for the king, which, if you see the chua later, that kind of plays that into that motif a bit. I don't know if that was intentional, but either way, I really like it. The lyrics are also really nice. I like how he sort of gave us a little input as to what it's like writing a song. He's like, sometimes I feel like I'm a genius and sometimes I feel like I'm crap. And then sometimes, the songs are really easy to write, but then sometimes when you get writer's block, it's just there and you feel like it'll never go away, which I feel like a lot of people can identify with that. Maybe not, writing songs, but writing in general or doing any sort of skill or activity. But probably the one that stuck out in the mind the most to me was like when he said, I started just because I like music, but the adjectives they attach to my name feel too much sometimes. Very true. If you know anything about Yoongi and his like backstory, you know just how much he cared and loved music and making music since a young age. Especially when you remember that when he came to Big Hit, he wanted to just be a producer. He just wanted to make music. He didn't want to be in an idol group. It just sort of happened. Probably had to do with the fact that Big P and them told him that he didn't have to dance. And now he dances a lot. It's okay, Yoongi, we love you dancing, you're great. But yeah, no, especially the bit where he's like the adjectives. I feel like anyone who would be in his position would feel exactly the same. Like, because people are like, oh, like, you must have it great, you're in the biggest boy band in the world. But it's like, no, it's the biggest boy band in the world, it's the biggest band in the world. That has a lot of pressure, that has a lot of expectations that you have to live up to. And, you know, ARMY likes to make a lot of jokes about how every comeback we have to top ourselves in terms of breaking records and, you know, views and whatever. But in a way, that has to do with BTS feeling that they have to top themselves every album. So I really like that. I really like, you know, that right from the get-go, he's just telling us, you know, there's great things about being famous, but there's also a lot of, you know, dark parts about it, which ties very well into his song back in Map of the Soul 7 Interlude Shadow, where he discussed that a lot. So I really like that. This is a good intro. Alright, next one is D-2. Now, I already did a video reacting to D-2. I'm not going to listen through it again, but I did kind of want to share some things I found after watching the video. I kind of looked up some things and I felt like it was safe to go onto social media, so I wanted to kind of share with you guys some of the things I found, because I thought, oh wow, this is actually really interesting. Alright, so probably the biggest one to me was the fact that someone put, I saw on Facebook, but I'll explain, in Korean dynasties, people with scars can't ascend the throne, be it king or queen. If a crown prince or prince has a scar, he won't get the throne. If a girl has a scar, she can't marry the king and be queen. Yoongi having the scar in the music video is like a big, you know, screw you to the system, which is amazing. And then someone else kind of added to that, having a scar meant you're unfit for the throne. So in a way, Yoongi being the king and having a big scar on his face can mean that despite the scars he has, he made it to the top. Genius, actually, yes. That kind of goes back into the whole, you know, origin of BTS in general. They started with a very poor company, and, you know, a lot of people would look down on them for that. They said that they would never go anywhere, and, well, look at them now. They're literally the biggest, like, out of all the Korean bands. They're probably the most well-known across the globe. So the fact that he's sort of tying into that just in a visual manner is fantastic, as well as, you know, again, lyrically talking about how he started in the ditch and now he's the king. But, you know, I really like that little detail in the music video. I think that was actually really, really, really nice. Then someone else pointed out that in Shadow he says, I want to be the king, and in D-2 he says, I'm the king, I'm the boss. So it's like, ah, yeah, again, little stairway moment. People talking about how he used his culture to kind of sort of put into that. Yeah, D-2 is actually, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but D-2 is actually a form of percussion. It's like an actual musical style that is used to sort of announce the king back in the Korean dynasty age, which I thought was really great to incorporate to that, both in terms of the actual song, like name and lyrics, but also the instrumentals. Also, someone talking about the Jin Cook cameo, they're like, it's the leg that gets me. You're just the leg. Just like, kick. Oh yeah, someone here, so at the end when Yoongi, like, when black-haired Yoongi shoots at blonde-haired Yoongi, it says King Suga represents new Suga with the money and the fame. Slave Suga represents old Yoongi, you know, born a slave but now a king. Old Yoongi is about to have his head cut off by King Suga, but he fights back and shoots him. He won't let himself lose who he is for the shiny things in life. I love Min Yoongi, so do I. That actually is an interpretation someone did, and that one makes sense, and actually that's actually really cool. Speaking of the gun, apparently that gun, the name of it is like a type of it's army, which I'm like, yeah, we're using it for murder, nice. And then the last thing I will point out is that someone put D-2 and Dang sit together at lunch and spit at whoever passes by. Oh my god, I agree 110%. I could just imagine it, like everyone is terrified of them and they're just like, don't look them in the eye wrong, don't look them in the eye wrong, because they will destroy you. So yeah, that's just some more love for D-2, which I am already feeling like it's going to be one of my favorite songs from this entire mixtape. However, I feel like I need to hold off on that because I just noticed that the next song is What Do You Think? Again, I have a very high suspicion, if you shall, that this song is going to have much attitude. I am ready for that. Also, can I point out that literally the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, half of the songs on this mixtape had the little explicit symbol. And one of them is What Do You Think? Strangely enough, not strange, that song does not have the explicit symbol. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with What Do You Think in 3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay. Alright, getting right into it. So. Oh no. That was a censor bar. Okay. So the production is very nice. Not surprised. Okay. Alright, yes, first on Billboard. Yes, that's right. Next is a Grammy. Yes. 10 zeros in my bank account. Alright. Big house, big car, big ring. And a black card. Okay. Flexing. Bastards or media benefits. Wow. Okay. Money buffs are only cute to me now. Sorry, I'm still shook over that. I'll get to that in a second. Holy crap. Well, okay then. Yeah, didn't really give that much commentary because I was so focused on the lyrics. In terms of the production, very nice, very clean. Really enjoyed that. I like the vibe. I like the rhythm to it. Sorry, I'm still in shock over those lyrics. Yeah, no, I suspect that there was going to be attitude. I didn't think he was going to come for their necks, though. I didn't think he was actually going to come in and do, like, a complete massacre. Did not expect that. Welcome it, but did not expect it to be to that degree. So let me give you like a little idea as to some of the things that he says. So it starts out with, what do you think of it? What do you think of it? However you think of it, I'm sorry, but shit, I have no effing interest. That's what I meant when I said, okay, getting right into it. Crazy that you think that my success has a connection to your failure. That's straight up, oh, your delusions are first rate. Fuck you. There are a lot of F words in the song, but I'm very curious as to what word he was really thinking of when he used the actual like censor beep. An honest to God censor beep. Okay, go off. Tens of zeros in my bank account, collateral for my youth. I like that. I like that. At the same time, while he's bragging about all the money he has now, he does acknowledge that there was a price to pay for it. There was sacrifice involved, which in their case was, you know, their youth, a lot of like their personal life in general that still goes on to this day. That little throwback to No More Dream, the big house, big car, big ring, bring anything over, I'll give it to you, my black card. Okay, well, I know we knew that Jungkook had a black card, and I'm pretty sure we knew Jin had a black card. If any of you were wondering, hey, does Yoongi have a black card? Now you know. The bastards that receive media benefits were on air more often than me. Going straight after anyone that's ever talked shit about BTS. Wow. On like actual media. I wonder when he says media, does he mean just like YouTubers or radio show hosts, or does like the news as well? Because Lord knows that's happened. Yeah, no, but the one that actually got me the hardest was the line, woo woo, we'll be sure to go to the military when it's time. So all the bastards who tried to sell our name to freeload off of us, shut up. Now I know that was directed at the journalist who had the nerve during like the sort of press conference from Soul 7 to ask Jin, hey, so about your military enlistment, like what's going on with that? And anyone that watched that saw how Jin like reacted to that. Like, you know, he didn't react, I should say, but like sort of like he got so much quieter and like he looked really sad after that question. And I'm like, first off, how dare you? Second off, military enlistment is a bit of a touchy subject because it is mandatory, but BTS have stated that they are gonna do it, they're proud to do it, they don't want to like get any special benefits, like to get out of doing it. To them, it's an honor to do it for their country, and we respect that, obviously, and of course we will miss them when they go, and we know that like it's only temporary, that they will come back, but it's still a subject that they themselves had said that they'd rather not think about or talk about. They'd rather just sort of live in the moment, and then when the time comes, like Jin has actually said, when the time calls, when duty calls, we will answer. But that doesn't mean that they want to hear about a lot. And the fact that a journalist actually said that, I love that. Oh, justice has been served. Justice was served in this verse. Oh my goodness. Going off of what I said about D-2 and Dang sitting together, if those two sit together at a lunch table, I feel like, what do you think sits with Ugh? Like, just, I take no arguments. If D-2 and Dang are sitting together, then you know that What Do You Think and Ugh are sitting together, and that's a fact. Speaking of songs that include other members of BTS, let's move on to Strange featuring RM. I am actually very curious for this one because I know that on Map of the Soul 7, they did a subunit together called Respect. That one was also very nice. So I really want to see what they kind of bring to the table with this one, see what kind of discussions are have, what kind of, well, knowing Namjoon, philosophical soliloquies we might encounter. And with that, let's get into Strange featuring RM in 3, 2, 1. Oh, piano. Min Yoongi's busting out the piano. Nice. Oh, we're just going straight into the anti-capitalism. Love that. Yeah. Literally name drop capitalism. I really like this beat. It's like much more mellow than the other ones, but it's still got that nice rhythm to it. Ooh. Oh, we have a lot to dissect with this one. Everything in dust. Well. Oh, that one's a little quicker. Well. Ah, got it. If there is a God, tell me whether life is happiness. Ooh. Oh, here we come, Namjoon. Everything's under control. Oh, I love the background piano. Ooh. Oh, Namjoon harmonizing in the background. Love that. Oh, it trickles down. Ooh, that final little piano like dun dun. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, wow. All right, so musically speaking, I really like that. I like how this one was, you know, very much a contrast to the first 3 songs. It kind of brought down, I don't want to say brought down the mood, but it definitely like slowed things down. It felt much more of like one that you can just kind of vibe to. It's not so heavy-handed. Again, love that background piano. I could hear it throughout the entire song, but it was such a great accompaniment, such a great like background focal point. All right, so this song, yeah, like I said, just went straight into the anti-capitalism, which, you know, again, love that. Let's see. The world is a giant system. In it, either oppression, war, or survival is inserted. And then with dreams as its collateral, the capitalism injects the morphine called hope. And that literally makes me think about how, you know, when you're younger, people tell you, hey, you know, as a kid, like, follow your dreams, you can do whatever you want to do when you grow up. And then once you actually grow up, it's like, no, that's not how it works. And that does definitely play into Namjoon's verse, where it's like, everything's under control, the choices you've been given are all preferences controlled by the capital. So again, you know, like, you feel like once you're an adult, oh, I have all these choices, but a lot of the times it's sort of like those preconceived choices made by society. So that kind of goes into one of the later parts of it. A round nail that has been hammered into a square hole, even so I roll on somehow like this. In each of their chicken coops, everyone claims they're fine. That last one, I thought that's a really good metaphor. If anything, it just reminds me of Namjoon's speech at the UN, where he was talking about how, like, when you're a kid, you have all these dreams, and then, like, as time goes on, you start to sort of, like, he himself said that he started to sort of force himself into, like, society's little boxes and box himself into other people's expectations. And right here where he says, oh baby, what's your name, that immediately reminded me also of the speech where he's just like, you know, what is your name? You know, you forget your name, you forget who you are in, like, the pursuit of happiness, but as told by what society defines as happiness. So I think that is fantastic. And that's just my interpretation of it too. That's just what comes into my mind when I read these lyrics, but be it as it may, I think it's fantastic. And then the line that is repeated in both of their verses, polarization, the flower that's already bloomed. Polarization, what is that? Outside of science, polarization refers to the act of dividing, especially when different views emerge people to drive apart. Ah, interesting. So I wonder if that means, because it says, like, in Yoongi's verse, he actually says polarization is the ugliest flower in the world. And in Namjoon's is polarization, the flower that's already bloomed. So going off that definition, I wonder if it's talking about, like, how sometimes people will let, like, their differences or, like, their different opinions, like they'll let themselves get cut off from people, or, like, they'll, like, divide themselves from people just based off of, like, different political views or belief systems or whatever. And if it's kind of, like, leaning into the whole, like, capitalism motif and how, like, you know, the system controls everything, it makes me wonder if it's talking about how sometimes, like, political leaders will use people's, like, differences to sort of, like, drive people apart, like, you know, divide and conquer. So again, that's just my interpretation, but if that's the case, I'm like, whoa, that hits hard, especially in this day and age, and especially, you know, again, these are two Korean men that are speaking about this, and yet I, as a woman of Latin American descent who's living in America, can completely identify it, especially, like, at the time that I'm recording this, it's like May of 2020. You know, I can certainly see that and, like, identify it in a really big way. It's crazy. I don't know, I just really, really like this. And I remember reading somewhere that when it comes to Yoongi and Namjoon, Yoongi is the type of person who, like, in a song will, like, straight out bluntly tell you you're a piece of shit, and then Namjoon will be the type of person who will come in and explain in detail, maybe even have, like, a slideshow ready to explain why it is that you're a piece of shit. But either way, I really like the song. I wonder who, like, Strange would sit with. Who does Strange sit with? I feel like Strange would sit with Respect in that case. You know, like I said, it's another subunit of Yoongi and Namjoon. I just generally feel, especially considering, like, the topics that Respect dealt with and the topics that now Strange is dealing with, I feel like, yeah, they'd get along. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with 28 in 3, 2, 1. Okay. A little bit of, like, keyboard, like synth. Ooh. Reminds me of, like, I don't know, just reminded me of Stranger Things. Ooh. Yeah, slowly becoming an adult doesn't sound very fun either. I like the little snaps. Oh, okay, so this is with Nihon. Now I become an adult and finds it hard to grasp my dream, and that's growing up. Oh snap, yeah, ain't that the truth? Oh yeah, you think things are gonna be different when after you turn 20 and then. I really like the vibe of this one. This one also like more of like a little bit more upbeat than Strange, but it's still like got that mellowness to it. Wow, that one was short, but I actually really like it. I like the harmonization from Nihua. I don't know how much input they had with the writing, but in terms of that writing, I like it. I like how, you know, it's got that little bit of upbeatness to it, like I said, but it's still a little bit melancholy, both with some of like the more underlying synth, but also with the lyrics. That idea of, oh, you know, people like when they're growing up, teenagers think, oh yeah, after you turn 20, like it's gonna be great. Once you turn 20 and realize that, you know, things change, but maybe not in the way like you thought. Like you feel like maybe your whole life's gonna come together, but it doesn't really work out the way they're like, oh well, maybe like when I graduate, everything's gonna change, it's gonna be great, and then sometimes it doesn't happen, and then it's like that sort of like fear, that sort of like, oh shoot, I'm gonna be 30 soon kind of thing. I mean, I'm in my 20s, I'm not like close to 30, but I can definitely like identify with that sort of feeling of, especially now that sometimes it feels like time moves by so much faster than before, like maybe some years ago. That sort of uncertainty of, oh well, when do I feel like I'm gonna get my life together, like, oh, I'm an adult now, isn't that fun? Like everyone kind of grows up with this urgency to become an adult, and then once you're an adult you realize it's not all that cracked up to be. So I don't know, I really like that. I like that, like, even though like I said it was short, it was short, but it like got to its point very quickly, and I appreciate that. I liked it a lot. So now we actually have Burn It, and Burn It is a song that features Max. So let's take a look-see at that. Alright, so I have my lyrics, and we're going to start with Burn It in 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Different instrumentation. First thing I thought it was like music box, or like those bells. I'm like, it's like horror movie-ish. Oh, that's Max. I'm literally doing lyrics. So burn it till it's all gone. The voice inside me, oh snap. Oh, this guitar is nice. I think there's a guitar in there, but I like it. Alright, that's it. Ooh, jealousy, hatred, the feeling of inferiority. The life that held captive to resentments after tasting success. Oh, let's burn it, my past self. I like this beat a lot. This is like those bells, like. I like it a lot. I don't know why I'm getting like I'm gonna start comparing this to Pokemon music again, aren't I? Embarrassment, hatred, disgusting, and rage. Ooh. I like Max's voice. I'm sorry I'm not being very talky with this one. I'm trying to take in the lyrics, which are very nice. I will get to more detail about that. But... oh yeah, that guitar. Ooh. Yeah, burn it. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so I mentioned comparing it to Pokemon music again. What I meant with that, and I mean this in like a positive light, something about like the lyrics and also the instrumentation, it reminded me a lot of like any, like when you play Pokemon, there's always like that, like there's always a cemetery. Especially it reminded me a lot of like Lavender Town, but in the sense of like ghost Pokemon. It just kind of gave me like a ghostly, like a haunted vibe. And haunted is kind of like the word I use for it, because it sounds like Yoongi is in a way haunted by his past. Like, I don't know, it's like he says set fire to like the old me, and he talks a little bit about like, after tasting success, what has changed in me compared to then? I don't know, I'm not much different. So like if we compare it to previous songs where he's talked a little bit about like what he's sacrificed in himself as a person on this journey to become famous, like the dark sides of fame. So I wonder if this is like going into either any past regrets he's had, or because you know you have lines like it would burn again to the deepest pit, like what would rain after, like we don't know if there'd be ashes left or will it remain the same. And then looking at Max's, like I see the ashes flying at your window, there's someone in the mirror you don't know. So it's like that change, like in the last song you mentioned about like, oh, like when you feel like things are gonna change. And in Moonlight, it was like, oh, a lot of things have changed, but a lot of things are still the same. I wonder if this is talking about like ways that he's changed that maybe he's not proud of, or maybe because it says like you see someone in the mirror you don't know. It's like, oh, like maybe at points he sees himself, he's unrecognizable. Like I wonder if it's just maybe a fear of losing himself, or the fear that's already happened. I don't really know, but I like it. I really like the like melody of it. I love the instruments used, like the guitar, the bells, and I really like Max on the track. Like I like his voice, I like his delivery, and I like his verses too. So that was a good one. That was really nice, even though I don't quite feel as confident in my interpretation as like maybe some of the other ones. I still really like it. All right, now we're gonna get into People. I have the lyrics ready, and we're gonna get into that in 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Oh, this sounds like xylophone. Like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh. See, that kind of plays into it's like, what kind of person am I? Am I a good person or a bad person? Oh, it's just kind of like jumping off like, who am I? Oh, I like the harmonization in the background too.
Why so serious?
Why so serious? Why so serious? Oh, I like this one. Yeah, this is a little more upbeat, but so far I noticed that all these songs like all have like an instrument or something that's like the background focal point, which I'm enjoying a lot. And I really like the xylophone in this one. I think it emulates the beach metaphor, or like the breeze ocean metaphor that's kind of going on. And go back to the xylophone. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's nice. These are all kind of short, but I like them. Oh, that's cute. I don't know why I said ocean before. I think just when it said as the water flows. It didn't specifically say ocean, but in the beginning it said gentle breeze, so I just think of ocean. But that's kind of like the vibe I got this. Like, Euphoria, when I first heard it, it made me think of like, oh, this is definitely a song that you could just like, I just think of the beach when I hear it, like just think walking on the beach. This one kind of gave me a similar vibe, like driving near the beach or walking near the beach as well. But yeah, no, I really like it. I feel like this one, like, these are all building on each other. I think the message of like change, like, you know, for a person to change or for a person to go under a change, like a personal growth or thing like that. So I like that if the last one, maybe he seemed kind of haunted by it, this one, maybe it's like sort of coming to grips with it. Maybe he's like slowly starting onto the path of acceptance that changes happen. I like the pondering, like, am I a good, like, what kind of person am I? Am I a good person or a bad person? Evaluation is varied. I wonder that little bit where it's like, sometimes it hurts again, sometimes I'm upset and shed tears. And again, that just sort of goes into like, you know, even though the melody may sound much more upbeat, like there's still, again, that little bit of bittersweetness to it, like that melancholy. So yeah, it's like, again, being vulnerable, like, yeah, no, sometimes I'm not okay, and I'm glad that Yoongi feels comfortable enough to be able to express that. Like, you know, he feels okay to say, you know what, sometimes I'm not okay, and that's a part of life, and it's a part of growing up. You know, sometimes you're not going to be okay. So yeah, I like that. Oh, that's nice. Alright, now we're going to get into Hansul now. This one, just say explicit. What I see here is that the word Hansul translates to drinking alone. So I'm wondering what kind of sound this one's going to have. But yeah, we're going to get into it in 3, 2, 1. I hear like Interesting. I wonder if this is supposed to give you like the feeling of being out of it, maybe. Like if it's true about the whole like Hansel means drinking alone, like sometimes you feel out of it when you're tipsy or drunk. Oh. I hear a very deep voice. This is gonna be a lot more like, I don't know if I would call this trap. It's much more like mellow. I'm already suspecting a little bit of when this song might have been written or what it might have been written about. But I will hold judgment till the end. I can't really talk about instrumentation though, because I can't really make out what instruments are used except maybe like synthesizer or keyboard. Maybe percussion now. Okay, we got back to that like dark side of fame. Yeah, no, I think yeah, I'm suspecting some things with this one. I like it though. Very much more mellow than like the other songs. I want to know what this voice is saying. Has anyone figured it out yet? So I will say I did know one little thing about the song. Going into this, someone said that this song was, I guess we saw it in Burn the Stage. While I did watch Burn the Stage, I honestly did not remember hearing an unknown song in it. But now that I like listened to it and like read the lyrics, I'm suspecting, because Yoongi did mention that he had been like drinking a little more. Like it, I don't want to make assumptions, but whatever it was, this, I feel like it has to do with that. Like this is just, that would be like my guess. Based on the lyrics, like I said, it does go back to that like dark side of fame, like that we see in Shadow. The lyrics specifically where it says, oh yeah, money, honor, wealth, the trophies and stadiums, sometimes I'm scared of them. So it's like, you know, I think the boys have mentioned, or Yoongi has mentioned, like sometimes crowds make him nervous. Concerts really are the only place where he does feel like not as anxious about crowds, but even then I can imagine that it's still a lot of pressure. Like the trophies, obviously he's not scared of the actual trophy, but maybe like the pressure to get trophies, or even like this significance, or like that comes with winning trophies. Maybe I felt like I wanted to run away. I thought when you became a superstar you'd live life partying every day. Expectation hits reality hard on the back. And then it goes on to go, it says, we're just enduring another day. Again, it does come with that. And earlier in verse 1, it says, skull-crushing schedules are 3 to 4 a week. I'd eat just enough and sleep well, though I'm unable to sleep. I worry about tomorrow's things tomorrow. And, you know, things like that. Again, it comes with that territory of, you know, when you're on top, you have to try to remain on top. So that's a lot of pressure to it. And I feel like this is probably like, if this is going to emulate like the darkest parts of fame and like the prices that have to be paid to be at this level, then I feel like the instrumentation did a really good job matching that mood. I think the same thing with Shadow, obviously, like that it did a really good job matching the mood of the song. But with Shadow, you had both the fear of and like the dark part, but also like the drive and the want for more. So I think that's why maybe it sounded a little more, I don't want to say high energy, but maybe a little louder, let's say. But yeah, that's what I kind of mean, like higher energy, or more like a faster pace maybe. Whereas this one, it just kept that mellow tone the entire time. And I think that for the purpose of like the lyrics, I think it matched really well. So yeah, no, I really like this one too. Oh, these are all so good. Why are these all so good? Because it's Min Yoongi, of course, that's why they're all so good. Alright, second to last song, it's called Interlude Set Me Free. So I'm wondering, like, I don't know why, but Set Me Free, and it just, first thing that popped in my head was So Far Away. Maybe like SF. Not really. I don't know why I thought that at first, but oh well. Alright, now, but we're gonna go ahead and get into Interlude Set Me Free in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, birds. Oh, birds, and like, I hear a little bit of acoustic guitar. Ooh. Lots of bird songs.
Set me free, yeah.
Is he singing? He's singing!
Set me free, yeah. Oh no, no. Set me free.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, we're building it a little. Ooh, I like that. Set me free, even though I know it won't turn out however I want. Even though I know it's not what I want. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Set me free. And we'll bring it back down.
Set me free, yeah. Set me free.
Ooh, wow. Okay. Ooh, okay. So that one was probably the shortest one, but it had so much. First off, Yoongi singing. Thank you. No, Yoongi's vocals. Yoongi is such a good singer. Oh my gosh, that we don't hear him sing often, but when he does, it's just so nice. I like the ambience, like the sound effects, like the birds with the acoustic guitar. It literally, first thing that I picture in my head is like, you know, maybe like a little house in the country, like the sun is out and like you have all the grass everywhere and the trees and it's just so calm and like just nature. Oh my gosh, that's really nice. But then the way it built in the chorus, like it built up to like it was like getting momentum, but then it just kind of like slowed down again. Oh, that's nice. In terms of the lyrics, there's not a lot, but it's like, set me free even though I know it won't turn out how I want to. Set me free even though I know it's not what I want. Again, reminds me of Interlude Shadow, where it's like, I don't let me fly, like don't let me fall. I feel like, because he was saying like, I don't want to fly high because I don't want to fall, but in this case it's like he's saying, set me free of all this even though really that's not what I want. So again, it goes back to that like duality. Like on the one hand, I kind of want to just be a person, but on the other hand, I do deep down still want to continue and do my thing. Again, that's just my interpretation, but wow. Either way, I like that one a lot. That one was very calming. If this was the last song of the album, I'd say it was a really good way to like bring everything like down. I know there's still another one left. I don't know what that one's gonna sound like, but I don't know. This is like a really good like, let's start bringing it on home kind of thing. But you know, that one's very nice. And again, Yoongi vocals, rare but treasured. Alright, last song. It's called Dear My Friend, featuring Kim Jong-wan of Nell. Does say explicit on it. And yeah, we're gonna just dive right into it. Let's finish it up. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, piano again. Okay. Interesting. Let's take a look. Ooh. This must be Kim Jong-wan. His vocals are very nice.
Dear my friend, 나 솔직히 말할게 난 네가 존나게 미워 아직도 여전히 기억해 함께였었던 지난 날 댁으로 함께 놀러 갔었던 우리 시간 같은
Only 20.
내 꿈을 품었었던 우린 어렸었지 꼴랑 나의 숨을 곧바로 달려가 봤지 서구 주소
Seoul Detention Center in Anyang. This one seems very, I know this is gonna sound dumb, but it sounds very personal. Even, I know the other stuff's personal too, but still, I love the instrumentation's part. The piano is doing very nice work.
네가 변한 건지 아님 내가 변한 건지 흐르는 시간조차 미워 우리가 변한 거지 뭐 야 네가 밉다 야 네가 싫다 야 이 말을 하는 이 순간조차 난 네가 그립다
This is so interesting each week. They have your trial, they have your release.
힘들고 똑똑히 기억나 그리고 간만에 본 넌 전화 딴 사람이 돼버렸고 눈이 풀린 채는 말이지 그래 볼 생각이 없냐고 난 화가 나고 또 욕을 했네 유일한 친구야
Don't you wanna try?
법은 없고 너는 괴물이 돼버렸네
Is this about drugs? Oh, there was just one clap. 2 claps. I like the streams too. This is a good closer. Ooh, drums. Nice drums. Oh, and then back to piano. Ooh. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, so this one, I think he's talking about someone who was in jail. Like, hold on. Okay, so where I'm reading these all have little blurbs. I've been ignoring them because I kind of want to try to figure out what the song is about before reading them, and I will kind of read them off later, but this one I do want to read. So hold on. Okay, it says, Dear My Friend is the closing song on D-2, and it details the story of Yoongi's childhood friend. With a more ballad-like tone, yeah, ballad, I would definitely describe this as more of a ballad tone. He recalls a friend that he had in his hometown, Daegu, that's in jail. He asks himself whether they would have still been friends if things were different, or if he had stopped his friend. This isn't a hateful song, it's more nostalgic and regretful. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's sort of like a bittersweet tone to go out on. I said that the last song would have been like a really great closer, but I feel like this one does probably even more of an effective job because it has equal amounts of like that slow ballad, but also like the rise of it, like sort of like building on it, and like a little more encompassing sound. By the way, this guy, what's his name? Hold on. Okay, Kim Jong-won. Nice voice. He has a very nice voice. I think his delivery, like the emotion of it, was very sincere, very nice. And I think it paired really well with Yoongi, like his parts where he raps. I can definitely feel like regret as one of the like emotions coming out through the song, like regret, you know, pondering, looking back on. I feel like that bit where he's like, you're not the same person, I wasn't the same person. I can definitely think of people who were friends of mine. Maybe I've lost touch with them. I've regret like not keeping in touch with them, but I definitely know like, yeah, we're completely different people now. But yeah, no, this is a beautiful song. This is a very good song to go out to finish up the mixtape on too. Very nice, very, very nice indeed. Alright, and with that, we have come to the end of this video. Listening to the mixtape, that was incredible. D-2, 5 stars, double thumbs up. I thought that was amazing. Would I say it's better than the first Agust? I definitely feel like Yoongi has grown a lot, so I would say yes, just because I feel like there's again 4 years of change, and it's given Yoongi time to like get even more experience when it comes to producing and rapping. So yeah, this was amazing. I loved it, and I implore you all to stream it and give it the love and attention it deserves, because Yoongi has put in a great work here, and it's incredible. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment in the comment section below. Tell me which of the songs on D-2 is your favorite and why, and subscribe for more. You can watch my last video, which was a reaction video to D-2. So I will go ahead and leave a link for that at the end of the video. And I also did a video where I unboxed a BTS Lucky Box that I won in a giveaway from Fun. And if you're interested in what skincare goodies was in it, then definitely go check out that video. I'll post it right here. I will also leave my social media links in the description below, so go ahead and check those out if you want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!